Hi, I'm Selma from Bosnia. Before I tell you my extraordinary story, click like and subscribe because My Story Animated will give $1,000 to one lucky person who subscribes in the next 7 days. When I was 4, my parents and I went for Christmas to a little town far from home. The day we were going back, I was so excited at the train station.
Mommy, look! Our train's here!
I turned around to see Mom was gone. So was Dad. My heart raced in panic as I ran through the crowd, calling out to them. And moments later, I saw the train moving. Were my parents leaving without me? I ran after the train crying when suddenly someone took my arm. It was a kind-looking police officer, and I told him I was lost. He asked me to describe my parents to him.
Dad was wearing a brown coat, and Mommy's dress was red.
Sweetheart, can you describe their faces? I couldn't describe them at all, and I didn't even know where I lived. The police officer dropped me at an orphanage and said he'd come to get me as soon as he found my parents. But days turned into weeks and weeks to months, and no one came for me. One day, I was introduced to a new roommate. When we were alone, the girl spotted my necklace on the bedside table and asked me what it was. It's a present from my parents. Want to try it on? I don't mind. I put it around her neck, and her face lit up. We became friends instantly, and I went to sleep feeling a little happier that night. The next morning, I jumped from my bed when I saw a strange girl in the room wearing my necklace. Hey, that's mine. You can't have that. What? You said I could wear it. I've never seen you before in my life, you thief. And with that, I pounced on her. The warden heard her screams and came running in. And when she pulled us apart, I saw a woman standing in the doorway. Child, are you crazy? Why are you attacking your roommate? What? I don't know who she is. I don't know who anyone is. The woman hugged me gently, asking me to explain what I meant. I told her that ever since I was a kid, I just couldn't remember faces. It turned out that the woman's name was Sarah, and she was a brilliant doctor. She told me I had a condition called face blindness, probably from birth. But it's nothing to worry about. I can teach you to get really good at recognizing people by their voices and expressions. Would you like to come live with me, Selma? Something about her reminded me of Mom, and I immediately said yes. And before I knew it, Sarah had adopted me, and I was flying to another city with her to live in her beautiful mansion. With Sarah's help, I grew more confident around people. I was homeschooled for many years, but on my 14th birthday, she told me I was ready for school. As soon as I entered the class on my first day, a group of girls flocked around me.
Wow, that dress is gorgeous. Looks like you have money and good taste. You're pretty, too. We could be twins. But first tell me, how much money do you have in your bank account?
3 giraffes and an elephant?
Oh, gosh, you're funny, too. Just like me. I'm Laura, I'm super popular, and you can sit with me.
The next day at lunch, I saw Laura alone in the cafeteria and I joined her. Seconds later, someone pulled me up by the arm, and it was Laura.
Why are you sitting with her? Being friends with me isn't good enough for you?
Oh, Laura, I didn't realize. I thought it was you.
You thought that was me? Did you just forget my beautiful blue eyes or my swan-like neck?
I somehow convinced her that I'd just gotten confused and I had to be more careful. After that, I stuck close to Laura and her group and always waited to hear them speak first. A few months later, the school's winter dance was coming up and everyone was super excited. One day, a boy sat down next to me at lunch and said, I thought we had a moment the other day in the hallway. I'm Ben. Care to go with me to the dance? I had no freaking idea who he was, but I said yes anyway. Suddenly, to my shock, Laura flung her tray aside angrily and screamed, You witch! And then she stormed off. Wait, what just happened? Did Laura like Ben? A little later, I found a girl who looked like her on the bleachers ripping a bunch of roses to shreds. Laura, listen, I had no idea you liked Ben. I'll say no to him.
That doesn't change anything. You already said yes, so go with him now. Dance, get married, have babies, I don't care.
I felt terrible. I almost canceled the dance, but Sarah said if Laura was a good friend, she'd come around eventually. At the dance, I could feel admiring eyes on me as I walked down the hall. Just then, Ben came running up to me, and without a word, he pulled me in for a kiss. Wow, it was my first kiss ever, and it felt freaking amazing. Seriously, Selma? You just said yes so you could kiss some random dude on our date and humiliate me publicly? No, wait, Ben, this is a mistake. How could you kiss him by mistake? Do you kiss so many guys that you can't even tell them apart anymore? How could I explain this without announcing my condition? I ran out the hall and tripped on my dress, falling face first. No one helped me up, and I blinked away my tears as I ran out. I would have skipped school the next day, but we had a big test I couldn't miss. After the exam, I was in charge of collecting and submitting the answer sheets to the teacher. When I walked to Miss Galina's office, I saw her at the door and waited to hear her voice. Yes, Selma. Thank you. That was definitely her. I handed her the papers and went to the library. But minutes later, Miss Galina was breathing down my neck. I've been waiting for you in my office, and you're relaxing here? Where are the papers? What? Miss Galina, I just gave them to you 10 minutes ago, in your office. Is this some stupid joke? You did nothing of the sort. Just then, I heard Laura behind us. Miss Galina, I just saw her hiding the test papers in her locker. I think she was planning to cheat and change her answers. What? Miss Galina insisted I opened my locker, and sure enough, the answer sheets came spilling right out. How was this possible? I tried explaining my condition to the principal, but she got even angrier at me for making things up, and I was expelled. As I stormed out of her office, I spotted Laura in the corridor, grinning. Laura, did you trick me and frame me? Do you know about my condition? Oh yeah, I've known for a while now. Your cook told my maid who told me. Did you also set me up at the dance last night with that boy? Why? Just because I wanted to go out with stupid Ben? No, because I wanted to go out with you. You're completely blind, aren't you? Too blind to see who really loves you? But no, all you want is attention from stupid boys. I hate you, and I'm happy I don't have to see your pretty face anymore. What the what? Laura freaking loved me? When I got home, I looked around for Sarah to tell her about my terrible day, and I found her in my room holding my necklace. She looked like she'd seen a ghost. Selma, where did you get this from? What do you mean? It's mine. My parents gave it to me one Christmas. Oh my God, Selma, I think I know who your real family is. And then she told me the craziest thing. She said the rose symbol on my pendant was the crest of one of Bosnia's richest families. I remember reading in the news a long time ago that they'd lost a little girl. Selma, I've had you for all these years when they live right here in this city. This was unbelievable. The very next day, Sarah drove me to my house, which was basically a palace. When we were finally allowed to see them, I just knew these people were my parents. They listened to Sarah's story in stunned silence. Then they burst into tears and hugged me. Oh, Selma, we've missed you so much. Our sweet, beautiful niece. Wait, what? Niece? The couple then told me that my own parents had died in a car crash soon after I was born, and that they were my uncle and aunt, my legal guardians. We raised you like our own daughter till that awful day when we lost you. We've missed you every day, honey. This was so much news to take in. I was happy to be reunited with my family, but it broke my heart to see Sarah go. She kissed me goodbye and said she'd come see me often. I missed her a lot, but I had a whole new life to get used to. My aunt and uncle were spoiling me rotten by showering me with expensive gifts and having the chef cook up every delicacy imaginable. I was in heaven. But then everything changed. They both thought with my condition it was better if I homeschooled. And after those first few days, I'd hardly ever see them. They were always too busy with their own things, and I felt lonelier than ever before. A few months later, they hosted a dinner for some friends, and the minute I entered the hall, I saw a girl who looked way too familiar. OMG, you're their long-lost niece? Daddy, this is the girl I told you about, the freak who can't remember her own face. We used to be friends in school till she was expelled. What? You were expelled from school? Yeah, for cheating. She's such a disgrace. You should just put her up for adoption. I'd had enough. I went right up to Laura and gave her a hard smack on the face. She screamed and pushed me onto the table straight into the food. I grabbed a chicken leg and threw it at her, hitting her right in the eye. And I was immediately grounded, but it was totally worth it. Later that night, I went down to get some food and nearly died when I opened the fridge. A light showed someone sitting in a chair. Laura, oh my God, what are you doing here? Relax, I just want to talk. I think you and I are meant to be together, Selma. It's fate. Are you crazy? I'm not into girls, and even if I was, I wouldn't be with you if you were the last freaking girl. Suddenly, we heard some footsteps, and Laura pulled me under the table. Just then, Aunt and Uncle walked in, talking in low voices. We have to think of something quickly. Once Selma turns 16, everything will legally be hers. This house, our cars, our money will be at the mercy of a stupid teenager. I guess we'll have to leave her at the train station again, but on another continent this time. Maybe a really remote island. As they laughed and walked away, I sat frozen in shock. They had left me at the train station on purpose? Whoa, that was crazy. Your relatives are pure evil. I can't believe it. They got rid of me for money? That's why no one ever came looking for me? I'm not letting them get away with this. Laura took me by the hand, and for the first time, she seemed nice. Listen, I'm really sorry about everything. I know you can't like me that way, and I've been really dumb taking it out on you. But please, let me help you now. Laura got me hearing devices to place all over the house, hoping we could catch Aunt and Uncle on record. And sure enough, one day we heard the two of them making travel plans for Timbuktu so they could leave me there. We submitted the proof to Laura's dad, who was a lawyer, and in no time, those two crooks were in prison. I became the rightful owner of everything my parents had left me, and the first thing I did was convince Sarah to move into my house. I went back to school, and well, Laura and I are now best friends.